Hello and welcome to Tech Talks with Kinsoft. It is Thursday, the 5th of February, 2026. I'm your host, and I have to say, what we're unpacking today has me sort of nervously double-checking my own passwords.
It has that effect on people.
It really does. We're looking at a series of events from late last year that have just sent shockwaves through the Australian professional services industry.
Yeah.
But before we get into the nitty-gritty, I want you to imagine something.
Okay.
Imagine you walk into your office, it's a Tuesday morning, you've got your coffee, you sit down, you wiggle the mouse and just black screen, nothing. So you pick up your desk phone to call IT.
Dead air.
Dead air. You check the Wi-Fi on your mobile. Connection refused. The only way you can tell your clients you even still exist is to post on your personal Facebook page.
Which is, that is the exact nightmare that played out for a Queensland law firm just a few months ago.
Exactly. That's our starting point today. The Kelly legal data breach from late 2025. But I want to be really clear. This is not just a story about one law firm. If you're listening and thinking, oh, well, I don't run a law firm in Queensland, I'm fine, you are missing the bigger picture here.
You absolutely are. This is a story about a tactical shift. What we're seeing, and the data backs this up, is a targeted campaign. We're not talking about random attacks anymore. We're talking about snipers.
Snipers. I like that analogy. So, okay, let's get into the anatomy of this thing.
Yeah.
Take us back to October 2025. How does a disaster like this actually begin?
It began with that silence you described. On October 10th, Kelly Legal posted on Facebook, calling it an IT and phone system blackout.
Blackout. See, that sounds almost manageable, like a power outage.
Right, it sounds technical, maybe fixable. That's often the denial phase. But later that day, the story changed. They confirmed it was a hacking incident. But there was one line in their warning to clients that was just a massive red flag.
I've got it here. They told clients to, quote, verify bank account details by phone before acting on any requests for funds.
Exactly. Now, stop and think about that. If your system is just encrypted or offline, why are you so worried about bank details?
Well, they're worried about fraud, I assume? Someone tricking their clients?
It's more specific. It screams business email compromise. It means they feared the hackers weren't just outside the walls locking the doors. They were inside.
Inside the email system. So what does that mean exactly? Payment redirection.
It's like a thief standing at your mailbox, steaming open your invoices, changing the bank account details to their own, and then sealing it back up.
Yep.
The client pays what looks like a legitimate bill.
And the money just vanishes. So Kelly Legal was fighting a war on two fronts: get their systems back and stop their clients from accidentally wiring money to criminals.
And that's a terrifying position to be in. But the really big shoe didn't drop for another month, November 13th. That's when the group behind it all, INC Ransom, listed Kelly Legal on their darknet leak site.
Listed? That sounds so clinical.
It's a trophy wall. It's where they post the proof. And they claim to have exfiltrated 447 gigabytes of data.
Okay, let's drill down on that. 447 gigs. To some people listening, that might not sound like a lot in a world of 4K movies. But for a law firm,
Yeah.
What is that?
It is colossal.
Oh,
We're
yeah.
talking about documents, PDFs, Word files. They're tiny. To get to 447 gigs,
Yeah.
you're talking about hundreds of thousands of files. It's the entire firm. Contracts, financial data, HR files, customer data.
The HR files. That's the part that makes my skin crawl. It's not just rich clients, it's the staff, their personal information.
It's the crown jewels of confidentiality. And this is the core of INC Ransom's business model. It's what we call double extortion.
Walk us through that.
Okay, so step one, encrypt all the data. The firm grinds to a halt. You can't work. That's operational panic.
Right.
Step two, steal a copy of all that data and threaten to leak it publicly. Now you have reputational panic.
Because for a law firm, your reputation is everything. If I can't trust you with my secrets, I can't hire you.
You've hit the nail on the head. INC Ransom knows this.
Mm.
They are leverage experts. They know a firm can probably survive a week of downtime. They absolutely cannot survive a total breach of client confidentiality.
So who are these people? Who is INC Ransom? They seem to have just exploded onto the scene.
They're relatively new, yeah. First seen around August 2023. But they are very, very good at what they do. They hit North America, Europe, but they have developed a real taste for Australian organizations.
So we're not just a sideshow for them.
Not at all. Remember early last year, early 2025, the attack on Spectrum Medical Imaging in Sydney?
Vaguely. That was the one with patient records.
That was them. That was INC Ransom. So you see the pattern. First medical records, now sensitive legal files. They are systematically targeting sectors with high-value, high-leverage data.
And how are they getting in? Is it, some brute force, Mission Impossible style hack?
It's usually much quieter. Their signature is spear phishing.
Okay, so spear phishing, different from the normal phishing emails we all get about a Nigerian prince.
Very different. Normal phishing is like casting a wide net. Spear phishing is hunting with a sniper rifle. It's not a generic email. It's an email that says, "Hi, Sarah. Just following up on the Johnson settlement. Attached is the revised contract."
So it knows her name. It knows a file she's working on.
Exactly. They do their homework. They look at LinkedIn. They read your website. Maybe they've already compromised a vendor you work with. The emails are targeted. They're researched, and they are incredibly hard to spot.
That is genuinely unnerving. And it brings us to the next point, because Kelly Legal, as bad as it wasn't an isolated case, was it?
Not even close. If you zoom out and look at that whole period in late 2025, it was open season on Australian professional services.
Yeah, you sent me the list. It wasn't just them.
Far from it. You had Bryden's lawyers in Sydney. Hackers claimed 600 gigs of data from them. You had Skeggs Goldstein, a financial services firm in NSW, hit by a different group, Quillen, for 500 gigs.
So why? Why these mid-sized Australian firms? Why not go for the big banks, Telstra?
Because a big bank is like Fort Knox. They have billion-dollar security budgets. A mid-sized law firm, on the other hand, is the Goldilocks target.
Oh, Goldilocks.
They're big enough to have money and be able to pay a hefty ransom. They hold incredibly sensitive data. But they're small enough that their IT security might not be military grade. It's the path of least resistance for the biggest reward.
And the most leverage.
The most leverage is blackmail, pure and simple. But this is where the story gets even bigger. It's not just about who these firms are. It's about who they work for. It's the supply chain.
Okay, so this is where it goes from being a business problem to potentially a national security problem.
Precisely. Let's talk about ICAD Engineering.
Right, the defense supplier.
An Australian defense supplier. Late 2025, they get listed by a group called J Group. And we are not talking about divorce settlements anymore.
We're talking Hunter-class frigates, Collins-class submarines.
And the hackers claimed they had access to ICAD systems for 5 months.
Wait, what? 5 months just sitting inside their network?
Just sitting there, watching, downloading. And do you know how they allegedly got in?
I'm almost afraid to ask.
An outdated VPN vulnerability.
A VPN. The very thing that's meant to keep you secure.
It keeps you secure if you keep it updated. If it has a known hole and you don't patch it, it's not a secure tunnel. It's an open door that you've just left unlocked.
So the hackers didn't have to be geniuses. They just had to rattle the doorknobs on the street until one opened.
Essentially. But see, the strategy.
Yeah.
They didn't attack the Australian Navy. They attacked the engineering firm that works for the Navy.
A side door.
It's the supply chain attack. We saw it again with the Army's Redback program, the armored vehicles.
Right. Another group published the designs for those, didn't they?
A group called Cyber Tufan, linked to Iran. And again, they didn't hack the Australian Army. They hacked the contractors in the supply chain.
So the lesson here is that you're a target not just for what you have, but for who you know.
That is the single most important takeaway. You might think you make boring bolts for a living, but if those bolts go into a submarine, you're not a boring target anymore. You are a stepping stone.
Which is a really sobering thought. And the tools they're using to find these stepping stones are getting, scarily smart. Let's talk about the AI angle.
Oh, yeah. This is the real game changer. Those reports from Google and Anthropic late last year were eye-opening. For years, the advice for spotting a phishing email was, look for bad grammar.
Right. Kindly do the needful. That was always the giveaway.
That safety net is gone.
Yeah.
Hackers are now using large language models, AI, to write perfect, persuasive, context-aware business English.
So that hyper-targeted spear phishing we talked about
is now being automated and scaled. An AI can scan your LinkedIn, read your company's last press release, and then draft an email to you that is indistinguishable from one written by a real colleague. It can do it 1,000 times a minute.
So the barrier to entry for being a sophisticated attacker is just dropping through the floor.
It's dropping fast. And while the big AI companies were trying to build in safety rails, the criminals are just running their own models on what's called bulletproof hosting.
Bulletproof hosting? Explain that. It sounds like something out of a spy movie.
It's basically a web hosting service that promises not to take your site down no matter what. They're often in jurisdictions that don't cooperate with law enforcement. It's where the ransomware groups host their leak sites and command centers.
And the government's trying to fight this? I saw they issued some sanctions.
They are, yes. In November, Australia The UK and the US sanctioned some Russian individuals and companies providing these services. It's a good step. It creates friction for the criminals.
But it's not a silver bullet.
It's a game of whack-a-mole.
Hmm.
You shut one down, they pop up under a new name. The criminals are agile.
So let's bring this all home. If the government can't stop it overnight and the bad guys have AI, what can the average person or business actually do? What's the actionable advice here?
It means we have to change our fundamental behavior. We have to move away from a position of default trust in digital communication.
Okay, so let's get specific. I'm a client. My lawyer emails me new bank account details for a house deposit. What do I do?
You pick up the phone and you call a number you know is correct from their website or an old letter, not the number in the email signature.
Because the hacker could have changed that too.
Of course. You call and you get them to read the BSB and account number to you over the phone. That one single slightly analog step can save you from losing everything.
Okay, that's for the client. What about the business owner?
Two big things. First, verify your vendors, the supply chain. You have to ask your software providers the hard questions. What are you doing for security? Because if they get hacked, you get hacked.
And then the second thing.
The boring basics. That ICAD breach, 5 months of access from an unpatched VPN, that is an unforced error. It is leaving the front door wide open. Patch your systems.
And backups are still a thing, right?
They are critical, but not just having them, testing them, and making sure they are immutable.
Immutable, meaning they can't be changed.
Exactly. The ransomware is programmed to find and encrypt your backups first. An immutable backup is locked. It can't be deleted or changed, even by an administrator, for a set period. It's your last line of defense.
It really feels like we're moving past that old mantra of trust but verify.
Trust but verify is dead. The modern philosophy is zero trust.
Zero trust sounds a bit intense.
It means what it says. Assume the breach has already happened. Assume every user, every device, every connection is hostile until proven otherwise. Verify everything, every time.
That sounds exhausting.
It adds a little friction, yes.
Mhm.
But you have to weigh that friction against the alternative, which is posting on Facebook,
Mhm.
because your entire business has been stolen.
When you put it that way, a little friction sounds like a bargain.
It's just the cost of doing business securely in 2026.
You know, that 447 gigabyte number from Kelly Legal, it's not just data, is it? It's lives, it's secrets.
That's the core of it. We say data breach, and it sounds so sterile. But it's human misery being packaged up and sold. These groups have turned professional confidentiality into a commodity, and they're very, very good at their business.
Which means we have to be better at ours. We can't wait for the blackout.
No. You have to ask yourself now, if INC Ransom knocked on my door tomorrow, what would they find?
That is the question everyone needs to be thinking about. And look, if this conversation has made you a little uneasy, and it should, and you're sitting there wondering if your VPN is patched or if your vendors are secure, you really shouldn't try to solve this on your own.
Absolutely not. This is a full-time job for experts.
It is. So for anyone wanting to get ahead of this before you end up as a case study, I would really suggest you head over to www.kinsoft.com.au. Go and have a conversation with them about your security and your IT needs.
It's a conversation you want to have on your own terms.
Exactly. Better to have it now than with the hacker later.
Well, that is all we have time for. A huge thank you for walking us through this terrifying new landscape.
My pleasure. Stay safe. And thank you for listening to Tech Talks with Kinsoft. Until next time, update your systems, verify those bank details, and don't click the link. Goodbye.